Well, good morning, everyone. It's me, Kae Pea. I'm here in my studio, The Moon and the Maker, home of RubberMoon art stamps, and we're here for day number 3 of the Imperfection Collection. Yeah, it's super exciting. It's my newest collection that I designed for RubberMoon. It is approximately, oh goodness, I think it's 44. I can't swear to it. I should have counted, but I believe it's about 44 rubber art stamps that make up a lot of imperfect organic shapes. I created them using a paintbrush and black watercolor. And yeah, I just have been having a load of fun getting makey with these babies. Partially, these were inspired by this book, Love for Imperfect Things. And this is going to be, between this and some of the techniques and some of the stamps, is going to be the basis for my new online workshop called the Imperfect Journal. And that is going to be available this Friday for pre-order along with the stamps. The stamps are not going to be pre-order. What we're doing is we're going to release the stamps on Friday. Hopefully you guys love them and want to order them. And then the class, you can also sign up for at a discount at that time, but it won't start for another month. That way it will give a chance to get your stamps before we start the journaling class. Although I will tell you, you do not have to have the stamps for the class. One will be perfectly fine without the other. Like you could take the stamps, buy the stamps and obviously not take the class, or take the class and not have the stamps. It will still definitely work. So yay. Oh, good, Dana. Yes. Oh, I have not read the other one yet. I think, did you buy The Things You Can See Only When You Slow Down? I haven't got that yet. I want to, but I hope that you love it. I can't wait to hear what you think about it. Some of the the little paragraphs make me cry. I'll probably be doing some reading from the book during the journaling class, and I have to practice so that I don't break down. But I cry easily. So anyway, so today we are going to be working with set number 3, and it is called What Goes Around. And as you can see, it has 10 stamps in this collection as well. And I'll show you a couple sample, or just quick little imperfect watercolors that I did using these babies. So this is this imperfect crescent. And I'll go ahead and read you the names. We have imperfect target, or should I say imperfect target? No, imperfect target, imperfect microcosm, imperfect crescent, imperfect tie-dye, imperfect cluster, and then imperfect space, imperfect circle, imperfect brilliance, imperfect dial, and imperfect wheels. I have a few things I've done here, just again, very quickly and imperfectly, but I wanted to share those with you. So this is done using the imperfect crescent, and I think that's super fun. If you only wanted to do one row, it would be great as a border all around your page. Just had a lot of fun working real loose and washy with this. And then this has a few different ones. This has the wheels, the microcosm, and the brilliance. And again, not really done and very imperfect, but lots of just, I don't know, juicy texture and loose washes, which I really like, especially again for journaling. So here's a couple, again, just with one stamp. I wanted you, this was called Imperfect Space, and I sort of did it so that you could black out most of the page and just leave little white, or, it might not be white, it might be colored areas. Here's one that I did the same exact thing, only I did use a little bit of my burst stamp. And this was on textured paper, and the black did not get quite as dark as I hoped or anticipated. So I do want to do that again on smoother paper. So again, I have not had these stamps in my hands very long myself, so still a lot of experimenting going on. In fact, I literally have stacks. I should just show you all the experiments that I've done. I will do that up on the last day, on Friday. I'll show you all of the pages that I've just literally stamped quickly. A lot of them are not good. They're, and I'm using these quotes, they're not good, but they're just to see what kind of marks I can get. And, a lot of it I just want to do quickly and just to see. And that's a fun way to experiment too. So I hope you do that whenever you get your stamps. And I will pull out the whole stack. But it's literally stuff just like this, okay, where it's a mess, but I'm just seeing what the stamps can do, playing with, just stamping them. Anyway, here I have just a couple strips of paper, and I wanted to show you again this imperfect dial and sort of how it can work with all, pretty much everything else that's on the page. So here, this would make a wonderful sun, or even just a pattern, if you wanted to do a repeat pattern. Of course, this dial, and I didn't stamp it very well here, but of course this dial is great just on its own. But you can use any number of things inside of it. And of course, as we move through the collections, I have some other pieces that go great inside these as well. But so here I stamped the Brilliance stamp inside. I stamped the imperfect circle and then one of our faces, the new moon face. So you can, and then this one just has that little tie dye in there. So again, just playing, seeing what they will do. Okay. So let me say hello to Dana and Jan and Phyllis. Good morning. No, you're not late. Right on time. I'm just here chit-chatting and showing you what some of these stamps can do. I think I am going to work in watercolor again today, but I want you to know that we are going to also be using some inks and some high flows. Oh, tomorrow I think I'll break out the high flows, and then definitely Friday we're going to sort of have a free-for-all because we're opening up all. I will work a little bit on with set number 5 individually, and then we'll just mix and match them all. Unless you want to go for a day 6. I don't know. We might do that too. Anyway, so again, I'll just run quickly through these for anybody who might have missed. We have our set number 1, which is Bold Impressions, which we worked with on day 1. Set number 2, Wings and Things, which we played with yesterday. Hi, Janine. Hi, Juliet. And today's set 3, of course, What Goes Around. And then tomorrow we will work with Lines and Vines. And Friday we will work with Brilliant Brush Strokes. And then we will go ahead and, throw them all in the mix. So looking forward to that. But today we're just going to stick with these little babies. I do want to show you, let's see if I can scrounge through here and find another piece that I did. Like I said, I have quite a few, and many of them are a mess, but it should give you the idea if I can find it. I think I just have way too many papers here on my desk. Oh, here it is. Now this, again, I'm going to tell you, it's not very good. It's not horrible, but and this does use a lot from the different collections, but this is Imperfect Cluster, and I do really love the way that it can be the top of a flower like that. Again, I need to learn the parts of my flowers. I keep saying that. One day I will commit them to memory. But anyway, so the nice center of a flower. And then here I used it again just as a repeat pattern. So really fun. I love this stamp. And now I guess we'll just dig right in and do a couple of these things. Actually, one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try experimenting with the piece I showed you earlier with this. I have a little bit smoother of a piece of paper here. This is actually, this is a really smooth soft paper. It's called Arches 88, and I think it's used a lot for printmaking. So it's not very good for like watercolor or anything like that, but it is really smooth. Here, I just inked it up with a few of my Moon Glow pads. I didn't do a very good job, as you can see. I just sort of smeared them on there. And now I want to try, and again, this is just to experiment because I wanted to try this to see if I could get a little bit darker. I'm going to use my Moonlight Duo here, and I'm actually going to get a little bit of black re-inker and ink it up so it's nice and juicy. This is Total Eclipse Black. And if I wanted it really, really dark, I could try a black gesso and paint on my stamp. I have some grunge on here. I think I have a little bit of sticky stuff on my stamp, so it's actually sort of impeding my stamping. So I'm going to clean this off. And try again. And you can see it got a couple little gooby spots there, but that's okay. Again, we're striving for imperfection. So somebody asked, when on Friday are the stamps going live for sale? They will go on Friday, right when the live starts. So what I'm trying to achieve is a mostly blacked out effect. If I want to turn it and leave some little like crevices or, areas that don't exactly meet up, then that's okay too. Really, I think the main important thing is getting it good and dark to really black out your background, or, black out, create a blacked out background, if that makes sense. I'm giving a lot of pressure, and again, using a smooth paper just so that I can get good dark coverage. And then, of course, I feel like if I wanted to sort of fill in, I could use my little cluster stamp, or definitely my burst stamp from the Stamp Stack collection to sort of fill in. I'm going to go ahead and try this cluster stamp first and see if it works how I hoped. I think it does. And so that would be a really fun way to create, especially I think like with our Moonlight Duo, painting by moonlight technique. I think this would be great on clayboard. And definitely you could continue to layer. I'm again pulling in, well, since I want to stick with my collection, instead of using the burst stamp, maybe I'll use this Imperfect Microcosm stamp, and I can sort of fill in even a little bit more and make it, again, what I strive for. I strive to not make it look cookie cutter stamped. So this would be a fun way to continue the layering and, you know, blocking out some of those other little areas, and again, making them imperfect. But what a fun background, and some, just to have some of that color peeking and poking through. And then again, I would probably, I don't know if you can kind of see that on camera, but there are some like dark seams where it meets, and maybe that's where you would want to play around and try to sort of stitch together. You know, that's a term that I use, stitch together some of those seams so it doesn't quite look as stamped out, if that makes sense. So I think that's a fun, very I don't know what to call it, like a space themed background. A little busy, but oh, I could foresee all sorts of fun border. It would be a great border too if you wanted to mask out the center and then do this around the edges. So anyway, fun, 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 just putting down ink and smushing things around. All right, let me clear off my space. That black sort of bothers me. So let's do a couple of these little guys. And again, we're going to be using 140-pound watercolor paper, cold press, and we're going to use watercolor again today. I'm going to start with these wheels, and again, I think I'm going to lay down just a little bit of water. And I'm going to take my wheel stamp. Well, I said, oh yeah, if it was a snake, it would bite me, right? And I'm going to use a little bit of Payne's Gray. I feel like my paper got dry while I was busy doing that, so I'm going to just mist it with a little bit of water again. And stamp it. And, you know, again, when you're at home experimenting with this technique, you may want to get some of your paper wet and then let it start to dry. Watch as your paper turns from sort of that wet sheen to still, you can tell your paper is wet or moist, but it's no longer shiny. And just experiment with stamping it at different times, you know, at different levels of wetness. So depending on if you want it more crisp or if you want it to start, you know, doing little blossoming and bleeding, then that will happen at different times, you know, different levels of wetness on your paper. I'm going to do the same thing here, only I'm putting down a little bit of green gold. And you can see the shine on that, okay? So I'm going to just let it calm down a little bit. Sorry, I had some other watercolor cards cut, and I'm just trying to find it. I must have buried it. There we go. And I don't know if you saw this yesterday. If it starts to curl on you and it's driving you crazy, you can always take and wet the back. I'm going to spray it here with just mist a little bit of water, and then it should start to kind of calm down a little bit. And now I don't know if you can see that shine is starting to go away. So we'll stamp it again. And I'm going to go ahead and use Payne's Gray again. Oh, that one's still pretty wet. So, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like that, but that's definitely what I encourage you to, watch for and look at. It wasn't quite dry enough. We're going to do it again. I don't know if it's going to be much better, but we're going to try it. Yep, a little bit better. So if you just get a big piece of watercolor paper and put some washes or some spray across the top, you will, it'll give you a good idea of how dry you want your paper. And see, this one I really like because it looks a little bit messy, but not like this. Although this could be fun and you could do something else with it. But anyway, all right, I'm going to go in. I'll color this part up just because. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, what can I do? What can I do to fix or change this if I still wanted to somehow make it work? And I really believe that I can. So I'm just going to go over the whole thing. I'm going to let it dry some. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and do some overstamping, maybe in white or maybe in, like a pretty orange or something. I don't know. We'll wait and see. This up here is dry enough for me to go in now and just give a little touch of color here or there. And remember too, with this whole process, this whole imperfect way of working, you can always overstamp too. Remember, dry, thirsty brush. I got way too much color on there. So I'm getting my brush clean and dry and pulling color back out. All right, I'm going to let that dry and set it aside and then come back to it. It's over here. So you can still kind of see it. I'm going to take this small card and we're going to use our imperfect crescent. And I'm just going to show you how I made this fun little border. I believe that I just used green gold. Well, I used a blue and a green gold. I'm going to go with my blue again, I think. Or here I have this pretty teal or turquoise color over here. I'll try that. So obviously, if you wanted to just do it as a border, you want to just make sure that your little tips of the crescent are going off the page. If you wanted to do it more as a scallop, though, or like scales, this almost reminds me of like mermaid scales or something, then you would just go ahead and overstamp it. It's okay if it goes up right on top of the other image. And of course, it'd be fun to do different colors and switch it up. And that's what I did here. I did like a blue and a darker green and then green gold. So let's say if I want to go ahead and switch here, switch it up. And again, it's nice because it's imperfect. I don't feel like I have to line it up all perfectly or, it's okay if it overlaps a little bit and you just get a really nice quick coverage. And then of course, just have fun going in and playing and smushing different colors and painting in your areas if you wish to. I'm going to stop just for a second and take a break and look at the comments and see if anyone has any questions, or I wanted to say hi to Emily. And if I missed you, I'm sorry. And Janine, let's see. The blossomy one is my favorite. Ooh. So I'm not sure which blossomy one. Let's see. This one? I don't know which one is the most blossomy. I think it's this one. Anyway, I'm going to keep painting on this puppy over here. Ooh, yes, Phyllis, you need green gold. If you don't have green gold, definitely go to our website and click on Kae Pea's favorites and purchase it through that link if you would. I also think some of the smaller sets. Now this set, I want you to know, does not have green gold in it. But some of the sets like these, this set, this high chroma core set does have the green gold. It's the high chroma set, okay? But I'm a big fan of green gold, so that is one of the colors that I have I have it in heavy body. Well, I think I have it in heavy body. I'm not sure, but I do have it in high flow and in fluid acrylic and in watercolor. It's definitely a favorite. So I'm trying to use a lavender color, but it's mixing a little bit and making sort of a gray. like a weird shade of gray, but I actually kind of like it. It's also kind of, I mean, I really feel like with a little bit of effort, you could make a really beautiful like peacock pattern out of this as well. And don't be afraid to layer, right? Ever. Layers are where it's at. Ta-da! I think this is so pretty and really, really fun. Very little, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I get in front of a blank piece of paper, I sort of freeze up like, oh, I don't know what to do. But I found that with this style of stamping, if I just stamp out some fun images that call to me, it is so it's so much of a no-brainer to just go in and start spreading color, and especially with watercolor, it's just really fun to watch it flow and just, I don't know, see the different beautiful little imperfections. Again, there's that word that you get when the water hits it, or when you work wet on wet. Or again, when you start layering, you just get really unexpected. uh, I don't even really know what to, not necessarily patterns, but these just really unexpected little areas of, um, yeah, pattern and color and design and things that layer over each other. And just, I don't know, it's something you can just look at again and again and find something new and fun. And it's just fun to do. So, all right, here's my mess that I created. So let's go in. I think I'm going to try. Um, Maybe a little bit of, I don't know why, and it might be muddy, but that's okay. But I'm going to try a little bit of transparent pyrrole orange over the top of this. I might be crazy, but that's what's calling to me. So yeah, I love what Jan said. She said you could just make up a set of little note cards just like this, pack it up with envelopes, and it would be a great gift. So, it would literally take you like maybe 15 minutes once you had your first one done. Okay, so I'm using transparent pyrrole orange, and I'm going to try it. And I do like that. And then I'm going to go in also with some darker um, of, of the phthalo blue, and paint my edge. And maybe I'm going to take this microcosm, imperfect microcosm. I'm going to hit it with that same pyro, or not pyro, phthalo blue. Making a mess. I really I need a paper towel. So while we're here working on this, I would like to tell you I did a little bit of, um, I took a 2-hour class the other day on paintbrush training through Silver Brush, and a couple things that I learned that I'll pass on to you. I mean, we're going to talk a lot more about this in Let's Get Makey Premium coming up, because I have still some more training to do. But one thing you should know is that when you wash out your brushes, you never want to put them up like this in a cup to dry. Okay, you want to leave them flat like this across a cup or across a brush rest. Many of you have seen my fishbowl cups that have these little crimped edges, and this is great for washing out my brush and putting it this way. Okay. D Silver, she has been making and selling brushes for over 30 years. She said the reason why is because if you put your brush this way, all your water and any remains of paint is going back down inside the ferrule and can affect your adhesive and your crimp and your wood. Eventually it's going all down this way. So you always want to let your paintbrushes dry this way. Just thought I'd pass that on to you while I was thinking about it, because that's something I didn't know. And it's funny though, I usually always have let my brushes dry laying down horizontally, but not always. And I didn't know it was bad, like a bad thing for them to dry upright. So I hope that little tidbit is helpful to you. All right, so I think I brought this back from the brink of despair. Still make a great fun background. I would still go in and continue to play with it some. I'm feeling like I would like to actually see a little bit more green gold possibly down here. And I don't know, something about the way that this is all layered sort of just reminds me of, like, I don't know, the Earth's crust or something. I'm not sure, but it's kind of fun. I don't really like necessarily the way that this is super dull. I would like it to be a little bit brighter, so I may go in and play with some color just to see. And again, nothing ventured, nothing gained, because if I don't like it, it's really okay. I've learned a lot just from the piece, right? I already learned like how wet or dry I want it before I start stamping. So I'm not really completely invested in it. If it turns out and I end up loving it, that's great. Then I can incorporate it into a card or into a journal or a piece of art. But if not, then that's okay, because I haven't really, I haven't lost anything. Right now, since I wanted it a little bit brighter and I didn't really enjoy the dullness of that, then I wanted to put in just a little bit of magenta and sort of in the background area, if you will. I know it's sort of hard to decipher what really is background, but that's okay, because then there will be no mistakes, right? It doesn't matter. And I don't know, I'm not sure how great the lighting. It feels really dark in here to me today, and also the light. Like I don't know why, but the lighting in my studio. It's really dark outside because it's storming. Not that I get a lot of natural light anyway, but for some reason, it just seems a little duller in person. This is not nearly as dark as it's looking in my monitor. So I don't know. And then if I wanted to even brighten it up more, of course, there is nothing that says you cannot bring in some white paint pen or some white gouache. And so that's what I may do is just use a little bit of titanium white watercolor or something just to brighten it back up a bit. Of course, it'll never bring it to um, the full, it'll never bring it back to the white of the paper, but that's okay. We could just have a little fun going in and sprucing it up just a bit. Again, being super imperfect. Striving for imperfection. And in this case, I don't know, I may have waited a little bit longer so that all my little white details wouldn't bleed out. But since I already started and some of them are bleeding, then that's okay. I would just continue because if I'd rather have some sort of running and some not, or them to all be consistent, if that makes sense. And again, I'm not trying to fill in every single little wheel, just, the amount until I feel like it looks how I want it. And I'm looking at it sort of thinking, ooh, maybe I should even do some more white stamping here at the bottom. So maybe I'll take a little bit or take my little microcosm stamp again, which by the way, I'm pretty sure this is going to be one of my favorites. I love, I don't know, this What Goes Around collection has to be at I think the top of my list. Or I don't know. I really like the brilliant brush strokes too. And on Friday, you'll see why I feel that way. But I do really like these marks and these circles. And, I kind of have an affinity for that anyway. Again, just using a little titanium white. All right, and there we have, I guess it sort of reminds me of a microcosm. And it's kind of busy, um but fun. It's okay. So here you can see some of our imperfect collection, What Goes Around. And let's see, gosh, we did this one too. So and of course, still, I didn't do these on camera, but I wanted you to be able to sort of see the whole kit and caboodle, which would be a great name for another collection. All right, so I'm going to stop and read some of the comments and see what you're all saying. Yeah, bubbles rising to the surface, definitely. So, and you know, if I was going to do this as a journaling page, maybe you would want to leave your, I mean, some of these, as you can see, like, look at this. This is just one stamp and it's very irregular, erratic, imperfect, but, you know, will make a great, just super simple background to do if you wanted to do writing or other, you know, word stamping over the top. So you don't have to go crazy and use tons of stamps. You can just use one. And here, the same thing, just using a couple different colors. All right. So, oops, I'm just having a terrible, terrible time. And that's not even showing up in there, is it? Put all those together. All right. So does anybody have any questions? Let's see. I'm trying to read back. What if you stamp the wheels in white on the dark blue? Oh, yeah, that would have been cool too. But you know, I did it with the bubbles instead. I guess I just didn't see that comment before we started. But then look at this. This looks like some gorgeous algae just blooming at the bottom of the sea. I wish that you could see this color a little bit better on the monitor. On my monitor, it is looking really muddy and it's not like that in person. It might get a little bit better too as it dries, but the color changes here are really, really beautiful. I have some of that orange and the magenta, but then it's sort of fading off into the greens and blues, and then that white sort of picked up some of those colors too, and it's really kind of lush. So Emily says, are you going to make stencils to match the new stamps collection? Yes, I do want to do that. It's going to take a little longer than I hoped because I have another really big project right now going on behind the scenes that is really taking up most all of my extra time. So I can't wait to announce that all to you. That'll be coming soon. But yes, the stencils will be in the works. I'm thinking though that they probably will not even be ready until maybe November. So yeah, I want to do the Planet Earth mixed chips because I really feel like that will really lend itself to doing a lot more, you know, not only stenciling, but layering and things like that. So gosh, thank you all so much for joining me again today for our day number 3 of the Imperfection Collection. I hope you've been enjoying it. I know I am. I'm really excited again for the next couple days, and especially for launching on Friday. And don't forget that our friend Patty Euler at the Queen's Ink will be having these stamps on her website actually a tiny bit before we do. So I will keep you posted and let you know. Ours will be going live on Friday morning, so hopefully you can ascertain when you might find them at thequeensink.com. Again, I appreciate you all so much. I am having a great time. For those of you who are in Let's Get Makey Premium, I will see you at 1 o'clock over there for our scheduled Makey number 3 for our golden journal. So really excited about that. Thank you all so much. Mwah. Love you to the moon and back, and I will see you and talk to you soon. Have a great night. Go get Makey. All right. Have a great day and go get Makey. See you later. Bye.